welcome to Sally Shan's Silly Show. I'm Sally Shan. Welcome to my silly show. This is episode 1 of my YouTube channel podcast thing, and we're going to have some fun. For better or worse, I am filming this outside. If you'd like to complain about the audio, send me money to get a better microphone. I would love to. Thank you so much. So this is going to be like a variety show, TM. I just wanted to call it that. We're going to have a variety of things to talk about from a bitch that likes variety. If you don't like opinions, this is not the show for you. If you don't like nuance, this is not the show for you. This is not my first attempt at a podcast, but it will be the last. This time, it's going to get done, and I know it will, because I'm doing it by myself and not relying on others. So that's healthy. Now, I'm not the first person who talked about this, but I think it's interesting. It's a thing I've noticed. It's a thing I've noticed regardless of gender, where if you're attractive and confident and kind, especially if you've been through some shit, people hate that sort of thing. And it's pretty embarrassing. It's kind of like a subsect of cringe. You know, people like some shit is just cringe, and cringe is in the eye of the beholder, right? But dude, like, is something cringe, or are you just uncomfortable with people being vulnerable with their feelings? So this is kind of like that, but without hobbies being involved, I suppose. And like I said, this is something I've noticed, regardless of gender. Um, the people being hated on and the people being haters, gender doesn't matter. Hating ass hoes, jealous bitches come in all kinds of gender and ethnicity and blah 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 blah, all shapes and sizes. Um, Now, if you've noticed like a majority of who's being a hating ass bitch, that's one thing I haven't really noticed, but or have I? I don't know. Anyway, oh, also I ramble. I'm a rambler. I'm such a Gemini. Um, Also I'm pregnant, so I'm gonna be rambling probably more than usual. That's why I've got my handy dandy notebook. Now, kind of like the cringe thing, I think a lot of it is people just act like they're allergic to personal growth and like accountability, because it's almost like they see your confidence, your attractiveness, your not being an asshole despite having the shit beat out of you as a mirror to their own faults and what they need to work on. And it's like, well, first of all, I'm just vibing over here. So there's that. And second of all, if that is what it is, um, why don't you go home and unpack that and then work on those things that make you so butthurt about yourself that you feel the need to take it out on other people? Because, like, the other thing about confident people is a lot of them weren't before. Especially if you've been, like, through something traumatic or a series of something's traumatic. Um, then you just, like, have to keep it pushing or don't. And the or don't is pretty fucking bleak. A lot of Gen X, not to hate on Gen Xers, we'll do that in a different episode. No, just kidding. Or am I? But a lot of Gen X burnouts, chronically have the TV on and are dicking around on their phone. Just anything to keep a thought about their bad behavior or bad shit that happened to them from getting too loud in their head. You know what I mean? It just feels like people are either Because, and if you think about people who are like, oh, you're going to therapy, oh, you're weak and gay for wanting to get better and taking medicine, maybe about it, which is so weird. And it's like, girl, if you can't do that, you can just say that. If you don't want to better yourself, that's an option. It's not a good one, but you're allowed to not want to try. This is coming off a lot meaner than it was supposed to, but it is what it is. I'm such a Gemini. I'm right and I mean, and now I have a microphone. Anyway, don't hate me because I'm right about stuff. Yo, okay, real quick tangent though, like for real. People who hate me and people who love me, it's usually for the same reason. Like, I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be loud and I'm gonna like what I like and I'm gonna be myself. And don't if you don't ask me a thing and then get mad when I give you my opinion. If you want someone to lie to you, find a new bitch. Because I'm not finna do that. But yeah, the people who think that therapy is gay or whatever, I usually go like, well, I tried it once and it didn't work for me. Um, okay. Raise your hand. Have who here has tried a thing one time and was good at it? Or it felt good to do it? Like off rip? I feel like you have to give it a try at least 3 times. And like a for real earnest try, which your first 3 times in therapy are probably not going to be like a for real earnest try, unless you're like on the verge of having some kind of freak out. Um, like I tried it once and it didn't work for me. Okay, cool. Did you know that there's different kinds of therapy and it's not 1991 anymore? And also, to you could try again. Like I understand that like traditional talk therapy is not going to work for everybody. I'm not a brain doctor. But there's also like group therapy and different kinds of therapy. And like, it's going to sound real cliche, but going outside is good for you. I know that's easier said than done, but especially if you got like depression or like agoraphobia and whatnot. But oh my God, the people, like the thing about doing better or getting better is it's a, it's a want to get better, a willingness to try, and the determination to see it through and to acknowledge that growth is not like I did it, I grewed, I'm done now. If you're like really about it, it's like a lifelong process. And that kind of devotion and dedication and sitting with your thoughts freaks a lot of people out. So they're like, that's weak. Real strength is when you bottle it all up and go to the bar every day. You know, that's why the people who are at the bar every day just seem so happy, right? Also, speaking of alcohol every day, bro, winos. They don't call them winos anymore either. They're like, mommy's grown up juice. Blah, blah, blah. Girl, if you have an alcohol every day, you're probably an alcoholic. Oh, but it's not hard alcohol. Bitch, alcohol's alcohol. We should go back to calling them winos again. I know it's like not the 70s anymore, but like, girl, you're an alcoholic. Now, okay, back to I'm not a brain doctor. I don't make up the rules for what is and isn't alcoholism. Um, I just feel like needing to do alcohol every day is a bit much. Well, maybe that's because I grew up with an alcoholic mother. My father was an alcoholic also, but I didn't grow up with him. They don't talk about when your deadbeat dad leaves and you're stuck at home with your abusive mom, and people are like, "My single mom is the best." I'm like, love that for you. Can't relate. Anyway, But yeah, so some people think that getting yourself helped is weak and gay, and some people just think it's too hard. And at least they're honest about it being too hard. But oh my god, I don't know if you've ever seen that was a baseball movie I like with the girls, A League of Their Own. Tom Hanks is like, it's supposed to be hard. The hard is what makes it good. And I'm always like, that's what she said. But but like it's like the old saying, something. Wait, how does it go? If it was easy, everyone would do it. Or like if a hard easy things hard things you gotta you gotta put in the effort for shit that's hard because it's better for you. A fool me can't get fooled again. Anyway, shut up and eat your broccoli. It's good for you. You know what I mean? Um, no, I'm not saying it's easy. I am the first to tell everybody that it's hard and that you'll feel gross and that it's gonna suck the whole time for the first like year or so, and you're gonna feel icky and bad, and you're gonna want to give up and maybe even suicide your guy, and you're gonna probably feel worse than before you started. But once you get past that part, then you start to, hello cat. But once you get past that part, then you'd be like, oh wow, this one thing didn't make me have a panic attack. Oh wow, I can ask for stuff without feeling like a burden. Oh wow, I have boundaries and I feel good about it. I told that person no thank you to a thing I didn't want to do. And then I did what I wanted or had to do instead. That kind of shit is a big deal for people who weren't allowed to or taught how to do that stuff. Having grown up in a volatile household where I got yelled at for being too happy, um, I've come a long way. And I had to learn a lot of this shit by myself. When I say by myself, I mean like I did research about it. My husband helped me a lot. Um, I found cool YouTube therapy stuffs that I liked. And I may or may not link them in the description. I know people don't read the description. I might put it someplace if I remember. Maybe I should write that down. Anyway, but also maybe I won't because maybe I'll forget. And also, you might not like the. Oh, that scared me. That's not a real spider. It's fine. You might not like the channels that I like, or you might not find them particularly helpful for whatever you've been through. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the description. I'd say it's very much not easy. It's very much one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my whole entire life. But it was super worth it, and I'm so glad I did. And it just is what it is, I guess. Like that saying, you're not responsible for your trauma, but you are responsible for doing something about it. I gotta quit saying sayings that I'm like that old man from Boondock Saints. I just gotta quit saying sayings that I don't know how they go all the way. But you get it, right? I forgot to go to the bowling when I decided to film outside. Decide is a strong word. This was like the only place I had to film. Anyway, for now. Oop. But yeah, it's hard. Fun thing about my podcast, did I mention I have a chronic cough and also OCD? Now, the chronic cough is probably a side effect of my acid reflux and or growing up in a Section 8 townhouse full of black mold. But, you know, I have insurance now. Holy shit, they finally gave me upset tummy medicine. I love that for me. Baby safe upset tummy medicine. But it's kind of like people, also people, if you're like nice and stuff, it's like people will hate on you. Like, okay, like pretty privilege is real. But also, what else is real is when people hate you for being attractive, because they're insecure weirdos. And I can say that because I used to be an insecure weirdo. I got bullied for being fat back before thick thighs were cool, and for being ugly and having squinty eyes before being ethnically ambiguous was cool. Um, and the whole time I'm like, am I ugly or is this racism? But it's kind of like when I was going through some stuff as a teenager. Um, and I was on the pill because I didn't want to have a baby I didn't want. It was pretty easy to not be a teen mom, no offense. I understand that shit happens and like some stuff just kind of happens to people. Um, that stuff being rape. But like apart from that, like if you're just like a regular teenager and nobody like forcibly puts a baby in you because you live in like a weird church town or whatever, um, it's pretty easy to don't be a teen mom. So condoms are cool. Um, there's other kinds, non-hormonal birth control. If your cycle, no, I'm not even gonna say that part. Use condoms. For what? Oh, I was on the pill and it made me, I don't know, eh, but my skin never clearer. It was so smooth. I had a good face skin. um, and like I had like a weird amount of times, women would come up to me and be like, "Oh my god, your skin looks so good. What kind of foundation do you use?" And I didn't wear foundation yet because low key I didn't have to, and also low key I couldn't afford it. So I was like, "Oh, I don't wear foundation." And then they would just straight up call me a bitch. And like, in a not quite in a tee hee ha ha we're girlfriends way, like in a weirdo way. Um so after a while I just started being like, I know, my skin is so flawless. It looks so good. I barely even wash my face. Or if I was like not in the mood to be extra, I would just be like, yeah, I mean it's cuz I'm on the pill. So, like get off me. It's just the weirdest thing. No, no, like, oh wow, good for you. Oh, what's your secret? Just straight to calling me a bitch, and I'm like, do that when I've earned it, dog. Like I didn't do nothing to you. Like, am I supposed to recommend some made up bullshit? No, that's weird. I had a point with that. It's kind of like it reminds me of the topic. God, maybe I should have made coffee after all. Regardless of gender, if you're hot and nice and confident, even especially if you've been through some shit, you're not doing anything wrong. Matter of fact, you're doing awesome. Congratulations. Um, don't dim your light or stunt your growth because there's hating ass bitches who are fucking weird out there. Also, hi, the channel is new. Welcome to the channel. Bitches is gender neutral around here. Anybody could be bitches or sluts or assholes, in case you weren't aware. But yeah, it is not your responsibility to cater to the emotional insecurities of some freak, especially if you just met them. Now, if you are a dysregulated, jealous weirdo, why don't you like take a deep breath, and go home, be alone with your thoughts for a little bit. Think about why that combination of traits in a person makes you so upsetty spaghetti deep down in your spirit. And then ponder this. Are you going to do something positive or productive about it? Ponder this some more also. If you are going to sit alone with your thoughts about it, think about why that upsets you so much. How you might be acknowledging that maybe you're a fuckhead with a bad attitude. How to fix that potentially. And then think about, this is a scary hard part. Think about all the bad stuff that happened to you. And just kind of sort through those boxes. You know, like in the movies where they go fucking around in an attic and they're like, oh, what's all this old shit? That's like what I did with my trauma. And after a while, you got these huge dusty boxes of shit. And then maybe some of the boxes fall on you when you're trying to open them. And then after a while, you know, in the back, maybe you're like, and then the boxes get smaller. And you're like, oh shit, what's this little box back here? Oh, I forgot about that one. And the boxes get not so heavy after a while. But please quit bullying people who like tried and got better because straight up, that's a you problem. And think about this as also as well. Who were you before somebody told you that you were wrong? Because, you know, in my late teens and early 20s, I'd be like, I'm just this. I'm an asshole. Blah, 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 blah. But, like, not really. I just got told that so much, and I got tired of people bullying me over, like, nothing. And so I just got, like, real bitter and weird. And it was, like, very, like, gremlin-y. Why are you trying to cross my bridge? Be gone from here, traveler. But, like, you know, unhinged, mentally ill, just no one loved you type shit. That's not like other people's problem though. As much as it sucks, and but if you have like a positive, how you say, support system, it's not gay or weak to rely on them. That's like one of the hardest shits you can do, actually. But yeah, um, also this also goes for like people who aren't attractive or whatever. Like growing and being kind after trauma and tragedy is a big up, and I'm not trying to like, ew, no uggos. Blah, blah. I'm just saying that for some reason the like 3-piece combo meal really makes people itchy, and I think people should unpack that. Now, on Sally Shen's Silly Show, I would like to do segments, and today we're doing a segment called Welcome to the first Media Madness. Today we're talking about Cinderella. Now, for a reference, I know there's like 100 million Cinderellas, and there's the books and movie adaptations and whatnot. To pick your favorite, I guess. I remember there's this one even in when they read to us at elementary school in the library. It was like a native girl version, and she was like, I don't remember her name. Little Soot Girl. She was like indigenous Cinderella. God, I wish I could remember what that book was called. Anyway, so for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna be talking about the fucking animated Disney Cinderella from like forever ago. Okay, do you remember how? Um, Also, I was gonna talk about Cinderella. Well, I was thinking about mentioning Cinderella when I do my "Y'all Hate Poor People" video, but Um, Mostly, I'm going to talk about a different movie in that one. But it's a Cinderella as fuck inspired. So, but I realized it actually works better with this topic about hating people who are confident, kind, and attractive, especially if they've been through some shit. And we're going to talk about Cinderella because do you remember in like the hipster like BuzzFeed era when the white women feminists were airing their grievances all over the fucking place, even though low key nobody asked, and sometimes they had a good point, and mostly they were just watching movies wrong. Like when they were like, "Oh, Cinderella and Snow White and every other Disney princess that wasn't frozen, they just sat around and waited for a man to rescue them, and that's not very girl boss." You know what else isn't very good, girl boss? Being a white woman CEO and still treating your women and brown people employees like shit. But we're not talking about that right now. Okay, because anyway, that like chronically online feminist take was that Cinderella was just sitting around and waiting for a man to rescue her. Which Loki, in a long time ago times, what other option did she fucking have? I'm no history expert, but girl, it was not looking good. Anyway, that aside, so if you watch the movie like with your eyes open and your brain turned on, um, no offense to people who like straight up can't see, but like it's hard to like if you're sighted, it's hard to watch a movie when you're not actually watching it. You know what I mean? If you're like on your phone or whatever, you're not really like absorbing the story per se, unless you're the kind of person who like that helps you pay attention better. Anyway, bitch, watch the movie again. Fucking pay attention this time because um, Cinderella is an orphan who is abused by her stepfamily because of the fuck of it, and also free labor, I guess. And also, what's anybody gonna do about it? These are rich people we're talking about. That's just they got a servant now. Um Also, it's strongly implied that Cinderella doesn't have any human friends, and that is concerning for a person at any age. Um and also sad as fuck. All her friends are like mice and stuff. Birds. Dude, even the cat bullies her. Hashtag not all cats. Anyway, this bitch is abused by her family, and they're posted up in her fucking dad's house and shit. Um, and they just like live there now and treat her like shit. And they're like, "Teehee, your dad is dead." Very fucking weirdo behavior. Homegirl just wanted to have a good time. You know what I mean? She's like, "Listen, I'm slaving away, cleaning up Lucifer footprints, and bringing this bitch tea and stuff. I need to have a good time, or I'm gonna freak out." Relatable content. Um, these bitches ruin her DIY project. Also, I'm using DIY loosely because again, her friends help her a lot. But again, she doesn't have people friends, so I'm sure it took all of them a very long time to like scavenge supplies and sew stuff with mouse hands and whatnot. Also, that mouse part of the movie goes on for some time. But anywho, I just like bows. I like bows. Whoever said a tomboy can't like bows doesn't know tomboys. They only know the ones from the movies. Not every tomboy is the same. Anyway, ah, bitch, I love a good bow. Bad bitches wear bows. Anyway, like Minnie Mouse. Oh, anyway, they ruin her DIY piece, and they're like, "Now you got nothing to worth to the function. You thought you're gonna go to the function, stupid bitch." And the stepmother's like, her day's ruined. Good. Ta ta, bitch." And dude, and then homegirl's crying her eyes out. Valid. And then, oh my God, she's so sad. She gets a magic visitor. Fairy godmother's like, "Bitch, you finna have a good time. Let's magic you up some shit. You're gonna have a good time." Poof, bippity boppity boo. Magics her a dress. Magics her some. She magics her a sweet drip and a fly whip. Ew, that made me feel old. I might cut that part out. But that's what happened. Anyway, so she's like, "Happy for you. Have fun. Be back before midnight though, or else have fun." And so then she does, and she's basically a stranger. She is a stranger. Anyway, so then the prince is like, "Oh my God, who's this hot stranger?" And they just dance. I'm not gonna get into the part about how the prince is weird and how other girls could have the same size feet as Cinderella. We're not doing that. What we are doing is talking about how um that hating ass stepmom and her raggedy daughters are like, "Oh, oh, the princess looking for a Cinderella. Not on my watch, bitch." And then they lock her up, kidnapping her in her own house some more. And they're just like, "Oh, the girl with the feet. I don't know where she is." Um, good luck. Are you sure it's not one of my fucking mean daughters? Now, here's the other thing I will say though, real quick. Disney does have a bad thing. They have this thing they do where they're like, if you're ugly or old or fat or any other ways deemed as unattractive, you're bad, and that's gross. But also, if you're like a hating ass bitch, you're ugly. The you're so like a shitty on the outside, it makes you not attractive on the when you're horrible on the inside and it makes you not hot on the outside. That happens with even people who are conventionally attractive or like unconventionally attractive. Uh okay, anyway, then her animal friends, I'm pretty sure it's her animal friends help her escape. And then she's like, "I'm the girl with the feet. That's my shoe. I have." Oh, no, actually, because she comes out with the other one. Even better. She comes out with the. She's like, "Look at my feet. Not on the first date, but see, I have the other. I have the other slipper." Uh, I love that part. Oh my God. And everybody's like, "Shook. Oh my God, it's this peasant girl. She's the hottie with the feet." Um, um, so then she gets married, presumably rescued, presumably has her happily ever after. Doesn't have to live with her hating ass stepmom and her raggedy ass stepsisters anymore. Yep. So people who hate this movie, they hate Cinderella. She's just sitting around waiting for a man. Let me ask you a pop quiz. All right, let me ask you some questions. Um, do you hate women like? Do you hate Cinderella, and maybe women like this also because A, they're pretty. B, they're kind. C, they won. D, you're jealous. Or E, all of the above. Or even, I'll be charitable, other. Write down in the comments below if it's other and what your reason is. And then also, if you're going to be like, well, a man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what else was a basically kidnapped, forced labor peasant girl going to do in whatever the fuck year this book came out? Riddle me that, Batman. But yeah, so I'm not saying that this is like the most solidest movie of all time or nothing, but the idea of she's just being shitted on, and then she has a victory, and then people hate that for why? I'm just curious for why, because I think it's fucking weird, but I'm open to hearing for why. I mean, that might not change my mind or nothing, but I'm just curious about for why. You know what I mean? Um. So, also, I did not rewatch the movie. I just thought of a thing. God, hopefully the next time we do this, my lighting is better. Because I'm cuter than it's making me look. But I do have the lines on my face, so I'm grown. That's just whatever. In conclusion, if you are that 3-piece combo meal, congratulations, sweetie. You're doing great. Don't let weird haters. The what's that Jesus song? This little light of mine, and I'm gonna let it shine. That song helped me to not suicide my guy a bunch of times, if I'm being real honest. The light stayed lighted, and there's not a goddamn thing anybody could do about it. Um, find stuff to feed your light. Keep on keeping on. You're doing great. And if you're like a weird jealous hater, don't blame it on your star sign. That's lazy and weird. Um, what we could do is ponder that for a while and maybe do something about it. That's good. Um, or at least, God, don't be fucking loud and weird about it in public. Like, oh my God. I also used to be an insecure loser, and I was mad quiet about it. I would just be staying home and wearing hoodies that were too big and shit like that. Like, don't perceive me type energy, but like, God, I was only ever mean to people that were mean to me first, I feel like. If you see a bitch winning, tell her congratulations. Unless she's a mean bitch. Like a for reals mean ass whore. Oh, also, I don't have a problem with whores. I just use it as a word for mostly at appliances that piss me off, if I'm being real honest. But also, I feel like kind of like there's sex workers, right? And then there's whores. Whores are um, like how my like how like if you get slutty in front of your kids, if you like um I know this person is married, but I'm bored and I think they're hot and I'm gonna go get what's mine. Blah, blah, blah. Horse stuff. You know what I mean? So thank you for joining me on the first episode of Sally Shan's Silly Show. Wow, I didn't realize how fucking hard the name was gonna be to say. I'm just like, I'm bad at naming stuff and I like alliteration. What have I done? Hopefully it's good for my SEO and it gets easier to say. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the first episode of Sally Shan's Silly Show. Um, I'll be posting for now probably twice a month. Twice a month for sure. I'm gonna say that with my whole chest so I don't pussy back out of it. Um, twice a month, 2 videos. After I'm done, wait, no, that's not true. I was gonna say after I'm done being pregnant, I'll probably maybe post more, but that's super not true. I'm gonna be extra busy. Um, 2 videos a week. Nope, 2 videos a month. Except for The first two episodes should come out. Wait, no, I'm not gonna do that either. Yeah. Regular posting this time, besties. Um, so come join me for this again in 2 weeks. All right, speak to you soon. Bye.